yo, Freeway Ricky Ross, you do an amazing thing. What was it about the script that made you jump? I mean, I know what it is, but what is it about that made you jump onto this film?
You know, the thing that intrigued me about this film the most was the story. You know, I had never heard of Gary Webb before I read the script. You know, I didn't even know there was a real Rick Ross until he came up from prison and had some discrepancies about him being able to, in what capacity he can use his real name or not.
That's what I thought too as well. Where were you and like what effect did the crack epidemic and the crack era have on you and your lifestyle, like in your family?
Oh man, crack cocaine has hit my family.
To crack cocaine.
And say half, but a lot. People who I love, very close relatives, you know. Yeah. And I'm no angel myself neither.
Right.
You know, whether it was selling it or using drugs has played a negative part in a lot of people's lives in my family that I love.
That's what I loved about this movie. Cause I didn't know about Gary Webb's story either. I mean, we always had it was conspiracy theories about the government flooding drugs into the hood, but to know it was true was just mind blowing.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah, that Gary Webb story was phenomenal. But with the Dark Alliance, what effect do you think the Dark Alliance and the government flooding drugs into the hood had on cases like today, like Mike Brown and Trayvon Martin, and just the way that black guys are perceived today?
I think it's just it's the same mindset. Nothing has really changed. You know, life is cheap. You know, I think until we start as a community educating ourselves on stories like this, I believe, you know, it's not a coincidence that there are liquor stores and fast food restaurants on every corner. Why, you know, the schools in the poor communities are overcrowded and textbooks are outdated. You know, I can go on and on and on, and the way the relationship between the police department and the community, the way that has just disintegrated to where, you know, it's okay to just shoot first and never ask questions. You know, that's all part of the problem. And until we start to educate ourselves more and realize that this is the scheme of a part of a bigger design, a grand design, and we can start to attack it, you know, strategically by taking care of ourselves first and each other. You know, no one's going to treat us better than we treat ourselves. So it has to start home first.
Yo, I love this movie. I knew about this before. I knew about them flooding the hood with drugs, but I didn't know they admitted it, and this was great.
Right.
What was it about Gary Webb's story that compelled you to share this story with the world?
I mean, ask this 1,000 times and I answer it because there's so many different reasons ultimately why. First and foremost, because that when I read it, I loved the script. I got it in script form. Mm-hmm. Love the script, love the character, and all these things. Creatively amazing. But then I realized, and it's not just about this story of what Gary's uncovering. It's just the story of Gary Webb and our state of our media, and I think it's a beautiful story.
One of my favorite scenes is when Gary Webb goes and to the hood and he gets out of the car. You being from the area, were you aware that what the crack epidemic was doing to the urban neighborhoods in America?
At the time, no. All I remember about the downstream effects of the story that Gary Webb uncovered, the Dark Alliance articles, was the war on drugs, and auditioning for a PSA for the war on drugs, and this is your brain on drugs campaign. The 2 fried eggs go in the pan, and then you tear the room apart. Yeah. And that was the campaign on the war against drugs, and that's my only recollection that any of this even existed. So I wanted to investigate more and understand it more.
You know, he bucked the system. He said, "Hey, this is the story. This is the truth," and then the CIA used the government to sort of downplay his story. But do you think still today it's too wrapped up into the system?
I don't know. I think it might be less so, because I think there's so many people that can reach so many people without any source of anything. Just on your iPhone, you can reach, some people can reach millions and millions of people and not be influenced by or have any, you know, ties to government or anything else, you know. I think technology's really kind of opened that up and makes it a lot more difficult to hide. Which I think is a great thing.
Yeah.
But then there's like, you know, what's really used? It's like people hack on celebrities' phones. And
Rihanna got hacked today.
Yeah, see, it becomes about that
Yeah.
versus like, why don't you put yourself to good use and
Exactly.
like, you know, go out there and do something good with your
Technology
skills.
also put Black Widow's face on Hawkeye's body. I saw you tweeting
Yeah,
that.
no, that wasn't technology. That was a mask I put on.
Oh, that was actually you.
That was me. I put that mask on.
See, that's
Yeah.
still technology. Which Avenger do you think would be best to stop this, the Kill the Messenger Black Dark Alliance?
Yeah, it would definitely have to be like, I think Widow. Widow would be definitely involved in that sort of thing.
That's really close
what I did.
to the Shmoney dance, which is New York's biggest dance.
Oh.
Ever heard of the Shmoney dance?
I don't know what it is.
Can you? It's like you just do.
Research. It was a lot of collaboration with the hair people and